Hey everybody, welcome back to our Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here watching more 86. Last time we were here watching I Won't Forget, where Lena takes command of the 86 and as the fighting gets closer to the capital, the Confederacy of Gia deals with the aftermath from the attacks of the Railgun Legion, now dubbed the Morpho. So the Morpho. I think last time you were saying it's like the Legion now has like a faceless commander instead of like our named individual, right? That we were talking about that.
Well, yeah, although you remember the details, you just don't get any of them right.
Maybe.
Kira,
Correct ourselves.
well, don't to correct myself. I'm right. You're asking me. Kira,
Correct us. We made the mistake, not just me. We
yes, how can I tell you that you're wrong if I'm part of we?
it's my victory and our failure.
hmm Kira is referring to himself as faceless.
Hmm.
So,
Right, yeah.
faceless, no face. Sorry, his name is No Face. You've got me saying faceless now. You're being wrong is just infectious. Kira refers to himself as No Face. No Face is in control of the Legion.
Hmm. Right. And we have that facing off against Shin and crew who have now all rededicated themselves to a suicide mission, which is to take down the Morpho. But I think last time we were speculating that Lena would have had to have pulled back somewhere. And I think my speculation specifically was Lena is going to go attack the Morpho, Shin is going to attack the Morpho. They are going to meet each other out in the field.
I mean, I don't
That's like
remember
a
you saying
speculation
that,
of
but that's
mine.
good to hear now, at least, if I didn't
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
the
So
first
I'm laying
time.
it down now here. That's my crazy idea for the episode. What do you think?
About that specifically, or you.
Or maybe we could go ahead and talk about your thoughts in general.
Well, it's just a weird area because my very first thought does regard Lena, so I'm just in a weird spot of do I answer your thought, or do I say my thought, which is also about Lena?
Let's go ahead and start with what do you think about Lena and go from there.
Is Lena dead? We saw, sorry, sometimes I must have written this while I was asleep too.
Hmm.
I think I'm okay. We saw Shin basically hearing Lena during his Battlefield Berserk mode, even without the para raid, during our flashback of Nina's letter. It's what snapped him out of it. Then, during the meeting, when he starts envisioning all his old dead comrades, we see the image of her walking into the flower fields everyone else is in the intro of Last Cour. He even says goodbye to her, and we get the window rain tear scene I commented on during the reaction. Did she try? Did she die trying to hold the line, or does Shin just think she's dead? He would be the one to know more than anyone else, after all.
I want to say the show definitely wants to impress upon the audience the idea that she is dead. They don't want to immediately give away the game. That's my impression of it. My second thought is now I'm suddenly thinking, what if Lena got captured by the Legion?
How many
I
episodes do
think
we
that would
have
be the
left?
worst case circumstance for every other character,
How many
right?
how many episodes do we have left?
Good question. We are currently on what, 13 here? Let me go reopen that page here. Yeah, no, okay, so we're on 17 and we end on episode 23. So we have 6 episodes.
Do you think 6 episodes is enough to deal with Morpho right now and then go on to the kill Lena the Shepherd arc?
I think so. We could handle Morpho in 2 or 3 and then handle a final arc in 3 or 4 episodes. I think that's decent enough timing for something.
Also dealing with Frederica slash Kira's whole thing.
I figured that's what the final arc is supposed to be.
Plus whatever PTSD we're gonna deal with the 86ers as well.
Oh no, they're just gonna keep it.
And
They're not gonna get rid of it. That's not part of the
set
story.
up for whatever world building we're gonna do for the survivors. Also, then knowing that we're only like 20% through the actual light novel material, and that there's
Yeah.
more stuff after this.
Yeah, I know. I guess kind of giving away the game. If there's more light novel, it obviously can't end here, right?
I guess technically we could also never go back to Lena, And
Yeah.
then at the very end of this will be the whole Lena's a Shepherd thing to
Oh
get you
yeah,
to
or Lena
wait.
just pops back up fully alive at the last frame of like the episode
No,
or
I don't
something.
think that would happen. I'm saying that Lena is
Sure.
a Shepherd thing would be the now you have to come back for season 2. That thing.
Yeah, we gotta come back for season 3 on that one.
No, season 2. This is a
Oh
core.
right, the core season argument. All right. What else you got?
Breaking down the command chart 2 episodes ago, I said that I estimated that there were at minimum 16,780 people on the Western Front right now. Well, last episode they suffered 20,074 casualties as a result of Morpho bombarding forward operating bases. So my minimum number was obviously too low, but at the same time represents a floor on the amount of people that could have been there, which means that a significant percentage of the forces on the front have been eliminated. I was going to guess 60% based on the numbers of my breakdown, taking into the average size of each possible combat unit, but later in the episode they said 26% of the front was lost, which means they are maximizing their unit sizes.
Ah, there we go. I think that probably feeds back into the discussion we had previously of like how big is the army overall. But I don't know, is all of the army just on this one front, I guess?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that wouldn't check out to me. But hey, we got real numbers, lots of people dead, and hey, it's all Shin's fault, right?
Inside the first minute of the last episode, around Lena's command center, you can see 86ers mixed in with Alba in the military uniforms side by side to the right of the frame. I know we are in a life or death last stand and all, but these people also spray painted a sign telling the 86ers to stay out as death loomed before them. So it's still noteworthy that a number of them are not in juggernauts and still interacting with the Alba on the ground. It's just my supposition, but there were Alba running from the battle earlier in the shot, and they were running in a straight right angle from Lena's command post, assumedly away from safety, but also away from the 86ers position, which might also be informative of the remaining Alba's thought process.
Right. We get like a spectrum of possibilities here between just falling in because everyone is going to die, running away and trying to let the 86 take them, and just outright going, I'm never gonna fight with an 86, and then dying in the dumbest way possible. We got like a lot of possibilities. There's no one response from everyone. That's good, that's fun. I like it.
Marcel is a dick of the highest order. He blames Shin for Eugene's death, and I'm sure it's in a you influenced him into this sort of blame, to the point that he's reading Eugene's sister's notes and thinking it's a great thing to give them to the guy fighting on the front lines with the best kill death rate record of everyone. You could have just been a middleman, resented Shin but kept the notes to himself and told Nadia he had delivered them for everyone's good. But no, slinking around the front lines during a war to deliver hate mail, that's the way to go.
I guess that kind of is the point that like builds upon the rest of the episode, which is the 86ers like pushing themselves away and then getting pushed away because of the way that they've been so far. Or just like confirming their biases.
Their
I don't know. This
biases
whole
are
situation
bullshit.
was
We
hard to
already
read. We
covered
talked about
we
that.
covered that their biases are bullshit. That
Yeah,
pi-
yeah, yeah.
pity does not mean charity, or charity does not mean pity. They just
Right,
read
right.
everything as pity. That's bullshit.
Mhm.
The Morpho is expected to be knocked out for 8 weeks, but when we, sorry, but when back in operation, it will be able to hit every Allied capital. That basically means the war is essentially over by October 23rd, if Morpho isn't taken out. Just another date in the war is over timeline.
Yeah, there we go. We pushed up the timeline again. The war is over, but not in the way you thought it was.
Well, we
I
had
remember that was the entire point of the first core. Oh yeah, it'll be over in 2 more years.
well, that's what they were telling. God, I forgot his name. Ernst. They were telling Ernst that
Hmm.
If we don't take it out by then, the war is over. They literally say
Yeah.
that to him.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, and that was all for Theta's thoughts, but the other thing that we tend to have now is a word from the author.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
the four, the author during the time the show was coming out tweeted about the show, specific episode specific content. That's what these are for the audience member who may not have seen this before. The forward operating base's destruction. 20,000 men are estimated to have died in them. Those targeted bases were all completely wiped out. In other words, the base Shin was in was only hit by a stray shot, causing that much damage. Also, the fact the stray shot reached as far as Shin's base implies that the enemy gun is very inaccurate.
Yeah, there we go. So it has a we have an area of possible effect, and the fact it actually hit and completely destroyed a particular target is just kind of funny. That or they fired hundreds and hundreds of shots and then got their kill confirmation and then a wide amount of damage literally everywhere else.
I mean, I'll cover that in another word from the author, but I will
Yeah.
say some of these words from the author, I guess, didn't reach the animation team because
Hmm.
there is a shot of them going over the Morpho on the screen, and they give it pretty high accuracy on the screen, and then in the
Hmm.
author's notes, it's like this thing is inaccurate as shit. All right, stray shot. The enemy Morpho is a long-distance artillery cannon with a range of 400 kilometers, but it does have a weak spot. But it does have its weak spot. Sorry, they also typo in their thing, and I'm trying to read it verbatim.
Yeah, yeah.
Unguided long distance fire is very inaccurate, so the Morpho is incapable of pinpoint accuracy. It has to fire 90 shots to successfully hit large immobile targets like bases or fortresses, with the assumption that some of them will likely miss their mark.
Hmm. That sounds about like what I was thinking. Though of course, now I have to wonder the base is destroyed in 90 hits. Does that sound right?
No,
I
90
guess if
shots
it's
to
spread out
hit.
and then you don't hit the same place,
90
right?
shots to hit, not 90 hits to destroy.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember we saw Shin's base got hit by one, and it was like off center, so it didn't
But
destroy
we
the
got
entire place.
100% casualty out of it, right?
No, not Shin's. Shin's was a stray shot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like the other ones that we have on the list here.
Right, which apparently were not misses.
Yeah.
Exchanging the barrel. The Morpho's second flaw is that the lifespan of its barrel is extremely short. It fired roughly 200 shots at two bases, then required that its barrel be exchanged. This gave the Federacy time to prepare for it, and when it fired 15 hours later, it revealed its position, was counterattacked, and severely damaged. Since it's an 800 millimeter caliber cannon, its shells weigh several tons at least, which cause wear within the barrel. After 100 shots, it needs to have its barrel replaced. The barrel itself is incredibly heavy, weighs several hundred tons. The whole Morpho weighs 1,400 tons, which is why it takes 15 hours to replace it. Still,
Mhm.
compared to what it inspired, sorry, still what, sorry, it's my throat. Still, compared to what it's inspired by, the fact it can exchange its barrel in 15 hours, is capable of rapid fire, and can move to its target, prepare, and begin firing within less than a day. It's a very convenient weapon, even if its barrel's lifespan is short.
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen like a image or video of like a full like large machine gun or something like just firing constantly, the barrel like heating up all red and like eventually bending or anything?
No, I'm new to
Have
the
you ever seen
internet.
anything like that?
New to the internet. Never looked up a video before.
Never looked at video. Well, okay, so there's this cool website. It's called youtube.com. There's a lot of stuff there. Go ahead and catch up on that. Yeah, I'll give you like 30 minutes. That'll give you enough of the internet, I think, to figure out what's going on, right?
I spend most of my time on my journal.
Oh no.
What? Get something to tell
Uh,
me?
I mean, AOL.com is where it's at, man. That's why.
No, no, no. Let me tell you about this thing I just discovered the other day. It's called GeoCities. I think it's going to be where everyone's making their webpage from now on.
But you know what I'm talking about. Like the barrels on like ordinary like weaponry will wear out really quickly if you just like use them in rapid succession. And given that these are things like you were saying, several tons shooting out of this giant barrel, probably is just outright destroyed by the end of it, honestly.
Well, again, I think they're basing their stuff more on like Big Bertha and the heavy
Mhm.
artillery of like World War II, which were
Yeah.
destroying themselves just by firing, not just the cannon, but the whole fucking thing.
Right, yeah, because you still have to absorb the entire shock of just firing it too, which not really going to be good for any kind of rail system, right?
Well, this is
But yeah,
also a
no,
rail
like it's
system that has existed past the end of the war, which I can't
mhm.
imagine anyone's repairing.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, it's in even worse condition. Like, does the Legion do rail maintenance?
Somebody must be, otherwise the thing wouldn't be
Someone's got to
moving.
be. Yeah. What else you got?
Morpho, the Legion's long-distance artillery railgun unit. It first appeared in Episode 7 and then again in Episode 11. Its estimated specs are finally revealed. It sure took a while. Incidentally, its initial velocity had increased since Episode 7, 1 year ago. It worked hard on improving itself. The inspiration for its name is the Morpho butterfly. In the original book, all Legion units equipped with a railgun are named after a blue glowing animal. The Confederacy designated it as such for psychological reason, so as not to name the Legion after the monstrous railgun with a powerful name. So they went with the opposite, a butterfly. Also, since the Morpho is a derivative of the generator plant types, Admiral Nephilidae butterfly, the
Mhm.
Morpho's name is likewise a butterfly's.
That's kind of a cute little trick to play. It's like, yeah, no, like don't worry about it. It's just the weapon over there, we call it the squirrel. It's like, what does the squirrel do? Oh, it ends the entire world in thermonuclear warfare.
It rips your nuts off.
All right, you win that round. I got nothing else. Theta, what's your next one?
Initial velocity 8,000 meters per second. The limit of artillery fire's initial velocity stands at roughly 2,000 meters per second, but the railgun can output an even higher initial velocity. The faster a shot is, the more kinetic energy it will output. Very simplified explanation, which is why
Mhm.
the railgun fires its shots this quickly. That said, 8,000 meters per second is excessive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess given that they have a specific operating area that they aren't willing to move that far if they're sticking to like these old rail systems in the territory they've already conquered, then and they don't have any missile technology, it seemingly, or any way to make them. I guess being excessive is the only way you increase your ability, right?
Well, I mean, they've indicated that it can hit all the Allied capitals from where it's at, so
Yeah,
like,
mission accomplished then, right? It does what it needs to do.
cruise missile saturation attack. The Einsatzflug. Sorry, let me just read this again. It's been a while since I've said this word, so I just need a moment. Einsatzflug. Flage. Einsatzflage. The Einsatzflage deployed over the Legion's territory get in the way of guiding the missiles, making them unguided and inaccurate. Cruise missiles are also too slow and are likely to be shot down, so they fired a saturation attack, hoping at least a few will hit their mark.
Yeah, that checks out and makes sense. We've gotten all those details before, and that kind of adds together. Uh, I guess my thing is that like a lot of modern like cruise missile weapons would have an internal system to try to find a target. Like it would point a laser and then look and follow the laser. I'm not sure those like butterflies would really stop that, right?
What if they
They
got in
would
front
stop
of the laser?
signals from channeling, but like if it's an internal
What if they
processor,
got in front of the laser?
they
It's
gotta
literally a giant cloud of them.
yeah. It'll have to be past the cloud of them eventually, unless they're just completely smothering the area,
Well,
I
that sounds
guess.
like you're
Which,
talking about some sort of AI-driven cruise missile, which is like
yeah,
knows when to turn off and on its laser by
the
itself.
missile knows where it is by subtracting where it isn't and all that, you know? That modern missiles do that, but I would guess then that these missiles are dumber than that.
You know what, Griff? I'm going to say you're wrong, only
Oh,
because this is a literally a person writing this who's actually educated in all this shit, and we're just two people on a couch, basically. So I'm going to say that you're wrong and they're right.
we can both be right.
No, 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 no,
There's a yes in there somewhere.
no.
What else you got?
Pinpointing the target for fire. They could have used Shin's ability, but after the Morpho started its third barrage, the Confederacy's anti-artillery radar detected its fire, reverse calculated it, and pinpointed its position, allowing them to counterattack the Morpho. Shin was useful later for confirming they'd hit it.
Yeah, Shin's power has never been perfectly precise, has it?
He
It's just
literally
been him.
pointed he literally pointed out where they were on the map.
Yeah, no, I guess he did do that last time. We spent the entire series up until now without direct confirmation of things that specific, and then we got it, and I immediately forgot because an even more dramatic thing was happening during that scene.
I only remember because I shit on Shin for not being more direct about what his abilities were. And then here he is being very direct about it after the fact.
Right, right. You got what you wanted.
Too late though. 20,000 people had to die, Griff. The United Kingdom drones. In addition to Shin's ability, the UK's drones also contributed to observing the Morpho. One unit snuck deep into the Legion's territories and successfully recorded footage of it. The drone's payload is the same as what a lovely maiden might carry, and its camera placement was quite low, implying that it's a small drone.
I'm hearing the word drone and I'm thinking back to the Alba and the oh they're just drones. I'm just thinking to myself like maybe it's not. But mm,
Well, they also said
maybe we'll
quite a
get
small
confirmation later.
drone, so.
Mm-hmm.
The United Kingdom of Rogracia. The Republic and Confederacy's northern neighbor is separated and defended from them by the neutral fortress that is the Dragon Corps mountain range, where their defensive line is deployed. With the Gadian Empire now ruined, they are the final autocratic monarchy in the continent. The Mariana model, which was the base for the Legion's central processors, was developed there. The Crown Prince Zafar is the king's eldest son and the United Kingdom's military future commander. His father, the king, is the supreme commander. The fact Zafar is the one in this conference, and not his younger brother, who commands the Southern Front, shows that they regard the Morpho as the great threat. Sorry. Shows that they regard the Morpho as that great of a threat.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Though I gotta stop and say, I want the Dragon Corpse mountains near me. I would be stoked to know it's like, oh yeah, that mountain over there. Yeah, that used to be a dragon. We killed it. That it's
Well,
just
Griff, all you
it's so
need,
cool.
all you need is a bunch of religious nut jobs.
Oh, we got plenty of those around here.
Well,
So any day now.
I'll refer you to the man who walked up a molehill and walked down a mountain.
Oh, there you go.
The
So
Alliance
hey,
of Wald. The Confederacy's southern neighbor also has slight contact with the Republic's eastern border, a league of small countries located in a precipitous mountain range, and uses their terrain to oppose the Legion. Lieutenant General Aegis commands the northern front against the Legion. Since before the Legion War, the Alliance had universal conscription for both men and women.
uh that's the alliance there you're mentioning is the smaller one that's using its terrain, right? I guess that makes sense then.
I don't know if they're
There
smaller.
well, it sounds like they're in the worse position than everyone else, where everyone else at least has a lot more terrain to work with.
I don't know. It sounds like they have precipitous mountain terrain that which they can
Yeah.
oppose the Legion. I mean, I've deleted that, but I remember that off the top of my head. Also, I mean, it sounds to me like the Federacy is in the worst position considering they've got nowhere to go.
True, true.
Or one might say the Republic's in the worst position because they seem to be
Because
kind
they're
of.
already gone.
eh. The the Federacy military's top brass. Note how they're all either with red hair and red eyes or black hair and black eyes. Same as how the Republic respected silver hair and silver eyed individuals for being an Alba country. The old Republic was a country mostly red haired, red eyed Rubella and black eyed, black haired Aquila. These two ethnicity nobility were the major nobles and ruling class of the empire. For instance, Major General Richard, Commodore Willem, and Kira are all black nobles. Among them, House Nozin ruled over the major black nobles and was in charge of the Empress's guard. The family Shin is actually a pretty big deal. In fact, there is a difference in hair eye color disparity between the generals, field officers, company officers from the Officers Academy, young company officers from the Special Officers Academy, and non commissioned officers and troops and the citizens. The anime staff kept that ratio in mind, thank you. There are those who draw on the blood of both those noble bloodlines with black hair and red eyes, or red hair and black eyes. The old imperial nobles valued blood purity, and the red and black nobles were in major discord, so there are no such people in the top brass.
I'm just thinking to myself, if we keep going with this, like after this season, are we just gonna hop country to country and see, like, oh, each of them was actually racist, but with a different chosen race?
Well, I think my read on this is that the
Mhm.
Confederacy is not racist.
Um, I was kind of hearing a little bit of preference, but maybe that's more imagined, like because I'm just comparing to what was happening in the show and going, oh, all of this would suddenly make more sense if Shin was inherently sensing this out, this more subtle racism, and then decided no, he didn't want any part of that either.
Let me again the
At least that
title
would justify
the
it.
title of this section is the Confederacy military's top brass. The last sentence was the old imperial nobles valued blood purity, and the red and black nobles were in major discord, so there are no such people in the top brass.
Right, right.
So they gotten rid of their old
Mhm,
racist nobility up top people, and they don't have that in their top brass anymore.
mhm.
They were racist
Yeah,
against the
no.
racist, Riff. So that doesn't happen anymore. I read you a paragraph of what the old empire was like as
Yeah, yeah,
for
no.
the
I
example of why the Confederacy isn't like that.
yeah. I mean, I'm still just letting it stew in the back of my mind. Like, is there something that I'm missing as as I hear all this and compare to the Confederacy as it is now? Because did all of that just go away? I guess it might not be relevant to the story all that
Well, I
much.
mean, some of it's relevant to that thing that I copy pasted you
Some of
earlier
yeah, yeah.
that you could reference at any moment.
Maybe
In
later.
fact, yeah, I mean, how about now while I'm reading you this part? What of Shin, Ray, and Frederica then? In Shin and Ray's case, their father was a black noble, while their mother was a red noble. Both of their families vehemently rejected their marriage, and they eloped and got married in the Republic, where they raised two sons. This was what Ray meant when he said his parents were Imperials, but he and his brother were born in the Republic. In Frederica's case, she rose to the throne as a baby since the Adler Imperial House were puppet rulers. As such, there were circumstances that led them to being intentionally forced into marrying other races and mix their blood to weaken their Esper abilities. Incidentally, upon sheltering Shin, the Federacy's government submitted an inquiry to House Nozin of whether he's related to them. The Nozin family, being as old as it is quite vast, so they checked if they knew when his family migrated. The head of House Nozin then said, Even if he isn't related to us, he does share our name. Shelter him and his four friends under our name. Upon learning that Shin was the child of his eldest son who eloped 20 years ago, the head of the Nosens was astonished. He'd given up hope on meeting his grandchildren after they were separated by the Legion War, after all. As such, he'd been sending repeated requests to meet Shin the whole time. But Shin didn't know how to react to meeting a grandfather he never knew, so he's been rejecting his request the whole time, reading it as written.
That all of this is wild. It's my first statement, including the forced marriages to reduce psychic powers as a political power play. Uh,
Because they're a puppet, they're a puppet family. They're
right.
puppet
So this is
rulers.
all from the author. Theta, what's the first thing you take from all of this?
That makes sense. I
It
mean,
just it makes
I
sense.
guess it makes sense in the aspect of if the Esper people aren't in power, then you don't want the
Mhm.
Esper people to get too strong. Kind of like, have you ever watched Babylon 5?
No, I haven't still
Oh, well,
got
it's
to.
kind of like Babylon 5, they have the Psi Corps, which is humans develop psychic powers and whatnot. But the
Yeah.
regular people are scared of them, so they send them off into camps where they can be watched and monitored and turn them into a government entity. But that
Mhm.
backfires in the way that Psycord starts controlling the government. So the government entity that's watching the psychic people that you've been afraid of is actually being controlled by the psychic people that you're afraid of. So, in a way to
Oh,
make sure that doesn't happen, instead of doing all of that shit here, what we've done is that we are forcing you to marry people who aren't psychic to try and breed the psychic out of you.
and then it didn't work.
Well, I mean, they're saying they're making it weaker, so
Mhm.
they haven't gotten there yet. But basically, instead of having psychics and being afraid of them, we're just going to try and get rid of the psychics. But we're not monsters. We're not going to kill you. We're just going to tell you who you have to marry.
Also, the Shin having living relatives thing is also like additionally wild to me because it just an entire extra level of things Shin is just throwing away just so he can go back to fighting the Legion.
Well, I'm going to say it's not wild that much because we know that he came from here. We even said, oh,
It,
maybe him and Frederica are related. But
it's totally within the bounds of things he's already done, but it is like an additional level of like what he's completely given up on that I didn't think was possible, but now we have it.
yeah, now you know from the author.
Yep. Anything else they got to say?
Oh, yeah, I got more.
All right, we got more.
Hey, look, man. After we're done recording this, I can finally eat. So don't think I'm. But I'm dedicated to the cause, and 86 is a cause. Esper abilities. No one believed Shin in the Republic, meaning that that this power sounded impossible to the 86 and the Alba. But in the Federacy, Esper abilities were seen as a normal ability used for administration, military command, or information gathering. This difference in values stems from the Federacy having more old nobility than the Republic does. Esper powers were originally abilities of the royal and noble bloodlines, and so those families had a large number of members so as to avoid the adverse effects of consanguineous marriage. I don't actually know what that means. Kimmy?
Could you copy paste that
Oh, I
word?
know what the word means. I mean, well, we know what consanguineous means. Consanguineous
It
marriage.
would just mean of the same blood, I guess.
Yeah, I would assume, but I don't know the direct here. If you want to look it up while I'm reading.
Yeah, I think that would be it then.
300 years ago, the revolution took place in the Republic, and the nobility there lost its power, as well as the necessary number of members to maintain its esper abilities. By contrast, the high nobles retained their influence in the empire, and so the long-running noble houses managed to retain their abilities up until this day and age. As such, the Federacy, who'd only been formed in recent years, still has many espers. As an aside, the United Kingdom still has espers too. Zafar's younger brother, who hadn't made an appearance yet, is also an esper. Espers that draft into the Federacy army are regarded as having special technique and are given qualification pay, on top of his promotion to first lieutenant, Shin also gets paid extra for being an Esper specialist.
At least he gets something out of it. At least that's one good thing to come of everything. But also, as soon as you said the United Kingdom has espers, I just immediately thought like real world Britain suddenly having a psychic.
Well, I guess this also completely destroys my argument against Shin for not telling them shit. If
Yeah.
they literally already know that he's an Esper, are paying him extra for it, and then are
hmm
just not listening to him, I guess fuck the Confederacy then.
That that would be even more wild. I'm gonna assume it's after he had the entire scene from last time where he's demonstrating on the board that he can do
I
this.
guess technically, yeah, on their handbook thing, their little pads,
Yeah.
he wasn't listed as psychic before, but last episode he was.
There we go. So it is a new thing now.
Yeah, so now they're paying him. Yeah, did you look anything up, or did we just listening?
I went ahead and looked it up. It is basically like I had guessed. It is of the same lineage, having a common ancestor.
All right, so they're avoiding inbreeding.
Yeah.
All right, air superiority. The Legion territories are full of Stachelschwein, the ones that shot down lowly Lena and her dad's plane. The Eistenflage dive into jet engines and clog them, granting the Legion control of the skies.
It insidiously evil is what I would call that. It is the exact tactic for a robot horde that is willing to make suicidal drones for sure. We've
Well,
already seen them, so it checks
I mean, they're like
out.
butterflies. I guess there's just so many of them, though, because we've seen it, they block out the sun.
Right. It could even just be completely unintentional and it would still happen.
Right? Nina's letter. So the sender of that letter was Nina, and it was delivered by Marcel and his friend who stayed behind on the front lines and didn't know what the letter's content was. Asato loves Marcel. She finds his good-for-nothing cowardice. Uh, she finds. That's the way they wrote it. She finds his good-for-nothing cowardice of his endearing. In truth, it was Marcel who should have saved Eugene, not Shin. After all, they were in the same unit. Marcel blamed his failure for doing so on Shin, and he told Nina what happened without bothering to hide the fact. Oh, Marcel.
That makes the whole exchange make a whole lot more sense now. It's like, why did they write that letter? Oh, right, because Eugene.
Well,
Now it's starting to come
what do you
together.
mean,
It's not
oh?
just
What do you mean, oh, because of Eugene? Eugene
oh,
was her brother.
the other character. I mean,
Marcel?
sorry, Marcel. There we go.
I know you might not
Sorry,
remember because it's been an hour since I referenced them.
it's been a while. We'll come.
Can't help it that the author is a Shin apologist.
Of course, he'd like his own main
I
character.
think it's actually a woman.
hmm
A woman writes this.
Okay.
What's that, Griff? You just think everyone who writes manga gets to be a
I
man?
didn't know. Now I maybe know. I don't know. You didn't seem sure about it either.
No, I knew it was. I knew they were. We brought this up like I think in the first core that it was a woman that was writing this. I don't remember why I brought it up, but I did.
I think it was because of the romance triangle happening early
No,
on.
that was definitely not it. That's a
It
weird
was
way to turn
during
that,
that.
Griff. No, I think I just mentioned it apropos of nothing. I don't know. This feels like one of those scenarios where I say, and then a doctor tells you, and you say, "Well, what's he look like?" And I say, "Why are you assuming it's a man?" All right, there's the last one. The foreign unit, known, known colloquially as Vargas in the novels. They were residents of the Empire since ages past, but they did not get citizenship since the Federacy's formation. They aren't considered officers or soldiers, but rather mercenaries or volunteer soldiers. Bernholt and the rest of the Nordlicht processors, except for the 586, are all Vargas. The Vargas were originally a class of warrior fossils, vassals, vassal. I'm not saying the word right, am I?
Vassal.
Vassal. I know it can't pronounce the A for some reason. vassals who defended the empire's border for generations in exchange for tax exemption and food distribution. As vassals, they developed different values than the rest of the empire and were called beastmen or werewolves. Even after the Confederacy's founding, the people still have discrimination towards the Vargas. This is why Nordlicht has a mascot, putting aside that Frederica did it willingly. It's not so that Shin and his group have a hostage holding them down, but so the Vargas do. As implied by Eugene and Greth, the Vargas are regarded as lesser than ordinary soldiers. The 86 of the
Huh.
Confederacy, if you will.
That's uh that is additionally wild, is what I'm gonna say. This is I need a whole episode of them just going over this. We'll get around there. We'll get around there, I think. But I need a whole episode just going over this, showing him, letting the 86ers go, oh yeah, they are just like us, huh?
I mean, they are
I
and they
need it.
aren't. I think the difference here is that the Vargas put themselves into this position because this is what they decided to
Mhm.
do in exchange for tax exemption and food. So I think the difference here is that the 86ers didn't put themselves outside the wall and do all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think this is I don't know, where it's just,
A cultural clash that led to each other disliking each other.
well,
It
motivation.
makes sense. It all makes sense, but I want to see it now. I want to see it in the show.
There's a motivation at work that we just don't see on both sides. One, the
Hmm.
86ers didn't do that to themselves, and the Vargas did. That's the
Yeah.
motivation. But I think there's more so. We wouldn't get this kind of insight into the show if we weren't reading the author's notes. You wouldn't even known Shin's grandfather was even active in the story.
The things start to make slightly more sense, you know?
But that's it. That's the last one.
All right. I think with that, since Theta still catching his breath, let's just go ahead and watch. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Let us know a fact that we might have missed in previous episodes that the author had laid out before we were doing this.
以上の理由からモルフォ討滅には86-5名を含めたノルトリヒト戦隊を選抜しました。これは西方方面軍司令官である私の下した正当な命令です。いかに閣下といえど本決定を覆す権限は
分かっているよ。覚悟はしていた。
That's why I'm gonna veto everything and reshuffle the whole military.
中将、これは1年越しの消毒ではないのだよね。あんな子供が、それもたったの5人でレギオンの支配地域を突破できるはずがない。
The fuck do you mean by disinfection?
Yeah, like you wanna elaborate a little?
処分すべきだ。と、彼らを保護したばかりの頃、そう主張する将校たちがいた。君もその中の一人だったね。
Oh, they were the ones saying get rid of the 86ers. I see.
しかし、この国は正義を国是としている。人でありながら言葉によらず。
Well, I mean, I think it'd be more so. Because remember, they're sending the Vargas out too, which they don't particularly like.
I love that they have a screensaver.
無論です。ですが、ご一考はいただきたい。
何をだい？
彼らは哀れな子供などではなく、戦場の狂気が生んだ化け物です。そのようなものを愛する祖国に受け入れるのですか？それが本当に連邦の目指すべき姿なのでしょうか？
無論だよ中将。それが僕が先導するこの国のあるべき理想だ。
I think Ernst is the factor the Republic lacks.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying.
承知いたしました。
Oh gosh, and then with all like the Arthur stuff we just read too, like there's so much additional subtext for us to take there that the president here is doing this not just because of the 86, but also for the Vargs, right?
Here's our second read in. Is Ernst Shin's grandfather?
I'll admit, that was kind of what I first assumed, actually.
Well, yeah, because there's the whole thing that remember, like one of the early Ernst episodes was,
Hmm.
like he had lost somebody, and his maid was like, "Would that be the people that eloped and ran off the Republic?" And then
Hmm.
Shin's his grandson. That's why.
And it all just fits perfectly together, seemingly for no reason, but no one says anything about
Yeah,
it,
that's
right?
why. That's why Ernst brought in Shin and his four friends, like the grandfather said, the Nozen
Hmm.
family. I guess the other thought I had was how many of these scenes we watched today that I think would have a completely that would work exactly as they meant, but if he faded to black and heard a gunshot sound,
Oh god.
like this guy says, "I understand." We fade to black. Pooh.
Just you can make anything more menacing that way. But
Yeah,
no,
but
like it does help explain.
so many of these do that though, where somebody says something dramatic and we fade to black and I expect a gunshot.
It does also explain the president's like sheer confidence in the 86's ability to become part of the nation if he is their grandfather, or Shin's.
Right. And his drive to not have them go back
作
out.
戦計画の見直しなら聞かんぞ。
ええ、だから意見具申にノルトリヒト戦隊を小隊単位でバラバラに運用していたのは彼らの戦闘能力が認知され、こういう無茶な作戦に投入されるのを避けるためだったのですね。リヒャルト先輩。
Oh, we're just getting into it this episode. I'm getting what I wanted.
鹵獲した共和国の機体、ジャガーノートといったか。
Yeah, that the whole Confederacy military was just gonna send them out
そうしたくもな
on
い
a suicide mission if they could.
切れ
And
す
they
ぎ
had
る
a
刃物
couple
は
of people
意味嫌われる
defending them.
か便利に使い潰されるか。いずれにせよ、ろくな結果にはならない。
結局心配した通りになってしまいましたけれど。
あまり入れ込むな。いかに慈愛深く庇護されたとしても、戦いを忘れられんよ、彼らは。
そうかしら。あの子たちはまだ10代半ばの子供なのよ。今はまだ新しい環境に慣れず、自分を守るので精一杯。けれど、いつかこの国にも慣れて、奪われたものをもう一度手に入れたいと望めるようになるかもしれない。
I don't know, we gave them that
そ
already.
してそれでもなお戦場を生きる場所に選ぶとしても決めるのは彼らよ。それまで私は待つわ。何年かかろうと。
What was that we were talking about earlier today? Duty of care and all of that. It's their decision, right?
溺れた子犬を拾うみたいに
Charity is not
同じ人を
pity.
救おうとした傲慢な私たちが負うべき当然の責任よ。
戦場で尖れ鍛えられ
I
た
I,
血が
I don't know. I think I'd save the drowning puppy if I'm being honest.
昔同じ賭けをしたわね。覚えてる？あの時は私が勝ったわ。
Damn me for betting my eye.
すべてレギオンに持っていかれた。
ええ。
グレーテ、お前はただ重ねているだけだ。彼らに死者もう二度と取り戻せはしないもの。
だから何？そうも気にしてくれてるなら好都合よ。私の可愛いレギンレイブたちの晴れ舞台にノロマの輸送ヘリじゃふさわしくないわ。あれの使用許可を出してちょうだい。
Give me the cool stuff.
Well, we know the Ice Flagger will choke up anything that has an engine.
まさか開かずの扉が開くのをこの目で見る日が来るとは。
長生きはするもんだな、じいさん。開かずの扉？
一部ではそう呼ばれてるみたいね。
開かずの扉であったのなら開けずとも良いものを。
That's where we keep our atom bomb. We were saving one just for this occasion.
Well, I mean, anything that can cause an EMP would be highly effective right now.
帝国空軍の格納庫よ。実験機のためのね。
実験機ってもしかして飛行機か？
そう。試験飛行も終わり、量産目前だったんだけど、戦争が始まって基地ごと
I mean, if you never intend to land it again, if all you do is put it into the air anywhere that the butterflies aren't.
All it has to do is work at 50%. Take off, don't worry about landing.
Basically. So like a B-52 right? A blackbird, maybe. Oh,
空爆への備えと
that
か
I want
that
this to
doesn't
just
have a
switch to a
cargo
monster
though.
story now.
The blackbird doesn't have any
この子を
cargo
レギュラーたちに
capacity,
持ってかれ
so
なくて済んだわ。
Oh no, the alien xenomorph was down here.
これが試作型地面降下翼機 XC1 ナファツェーラーよ。
but
Oh,
it
it's
is,
like a stealth
今はま
bomber.
だ
but it is kind of
お
like a
休み中だけどね。
B-52 then.
こ
Yeah.
れが飛ぶの？
地面翼機って
地表スレスレを飛ぶことで得られる地面効果を利用して飛行する機体のことよ。輸送ヘリなんかよりずっと早くあなたたちをモルフォのところへ
I've
運んであげ
never
られ
heard
る。
of that.
On-
I don't know
This-
if we're making it up or not.
スレスレって言ったような気が。
ええ、機体最下部と地面の間隔は数メートルしかない。
It's a hover
近い
vehicle.
ところを飛ぶからレーダーからも対空ミサイルからも見つかりにくいわ。
So you're gonna get shot at by every legion that sees you coming.
趣味の悪いなじゃの。連邦東南部の古い伝承にあるのじゃ。墓から蘇り、小野が影を引きずって墓地を這いずり、教会の鐘をつくという吸血鬼。
Oh, so it's a Nosferatu. Got it.
ほんと趣味悪い。っていうか建物に激突するじゃん。地上数メートルって。
That's why I gave him the name.
戦機は元
You get it now.
地形データは揃っているわ。
It'll ring every church bell along the way. Oh, that's
But they
just
do.
brutal.
They do build
自体は
buildings.
どうすんだ。
Remember there's that the new factory that they built that we sent them after.
そううまくいきますか。
Have you actually seen a close-up of it yet, though?
No, we've never seen it.
まあ敵の大半は三国合同軍が引き受けてくれるから心配ないでしょ。
それでどうするのじゃ。守備よくモルフォの元に到達できたとして勝てる見込みはあるのか。仮に勝てたとしてもそこは敵地のど真ん中じゃ。どうやって帰還するつもりじゃ。
Everyone else realized this before you, Frederica.
帰りの心配よりも今はモルフを仕留めるのが先決だ。
だからといって
あれを放っておくつもりか。
It's not about realizing it. Remember, Frederica doesn't want him to turn into Kira,
Right.
so she wants him to live no matter what.
飛ぶとか言ってるが、
誰が操縦す
Kind
る
of
の？
like the last chorus.
決まってるじゃない。
Here's where you can run off to. Don't fight to the end.
私よ。どうかしら。
そういうのいいから。
で、本当は誰が？
だから私よ。本当に私よ。
そうなんでしょ。
私だってば。
I have to wonder what she's reading there. There's got to be extra info we're gonna get.
Her
now.
eyes glow when she's doing an Esper thing, so she was.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
just her dealing with the situation.
そう言ってダダをこねていると聞いたから来たんだ。
ただではない。わらわとてノルトリヒト戦隊の一員じゃ。なぜ一人だけ首都に帰らねばならぬ。そもそもそのような許可は出ぬわ。マスコットが人質じゃということ忘れたわけではあるまい。
大統領の娘なら別だろ。
じゃが、なぜ突然そのようなことを言う。己が生き方を他人に決められる言われなどないと言うたのはそなたではないか。
Except me to you, because you're a kid.
誰かの死になんて関わらない方がいいとも言ったはずだけど。
I can't read what it says above the poster.
それに、
Magico.
No, that's what to say above that.
I don't
俺
know.
の声なら覚えている。
Too tiny.
お前に示してもらう必要なんてない。
話が逆じゃ。キリアにゆかりがあるのはわらわじゃ。帰るべきはそなたらであろうが。クレーテにはわらわから話す。せっかく86区の絶死の戦場を逃げ延びたのであろうが、かような作戦で死んではならぬ。こたびはわらわが。
お前には、お前の騎士を見ることはできても、他のレギオンは見えない。それじゃ突入したところで全滅するだけだ。
じゃが、
お前、どうしてそんなに俺たちを後方に下がらせようとする？
Other
お前の騎士を撃って
motivation.
ほしいんじゃなかったのか？本当は、あれを撃たれたくはないんじゃないのか？なら、なおさら帰れ。
It feels like the Maiden Abyss end of season 1 thing.
そなたこそそれを誰に言って
I don't really think so.
That she wants him, she wants to free him, but it's hard to kill him.
Yeah.
ではならぬとわらわに言う
I mean, she obviously still has feelings for her old friend.
うすうす分かっておるのであろう。目的もなく帰る地もなく誇りだけにすがって生きた果てがあの惨めな亡霊であると、そなたも同じものになりたいか。
Oh, she's just going straight for the neck.
俺はお前の騎士じゃない。
But
重ねるのは勝手だ。けど、お前の後悔と罪滅ぼしまで押し付けられるのは迷惑だ。
この分からずやめが、わらわは行くなと言うておるのじゃ。言うておるのじゃから従わぬか知れ者が。そなたは兄君に行くなと言わ
Ah,
れ
the
たこと
full
を後悔して
breakdown.
おるのであろう。口に出せないまま兄君が死地に赴いたことを今でも。それなのになぜ
I can see, Shin. I can see.
I know everything. You can't hide from me. You have to face everything in your past, Shin. You can't just be quiet.
フレデリカ。
行くでない。死へ。そなたにキリのように死なれたくはない。
Best child breakdown ever, right here. This is the best drama.
人が死ぬのは嫌じゃ。わらわはまた兄様を失いたくないのじゃ。
Go for the heart.
I mean, we know it's going. There's no way that was
Oh, keep
changing a
going.
thing.
It's never gonna stop.
We know there's
got a
no
plot.
possible way that was going to change anything.
It just drives up the stakes substantially.
納得はしてないと思うけど。
部屋に閉じこもったまま見送りにも来てくれないもんね。
一人だけ置いてきぼりなんだ。へそも曲げる
I mean, to be fair, she doesn't actually have to see you off to see you off. But you know that's her power.
Well, the point is for the people being seen off, right?
No, she said her piece.
行くか。
おーい。
え、眠いの？
だっていつもなら寝てる時間だし。機内で寝ちゃったら飛行機寝れないんだよ。
行くぞ。
Dog just always ready to go.
頼むぜ。
使われない方がいいけどな。
みんな乗ったかしら？
操縦、本当なんですね、中佐。
仕方ないでしょ。旧空軍のパイロットはほとん
I
ど
was gonna say, no one's left. Who else?
Oh, God.
Who has even flown in a long time?
I wanted to just say it's like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's like flying our crop duster back home, right? This highly advanced bomber.
それならどうせこっちも覚えてないんでしょうけど、あなたたちのような子供が戦場に出るのは私はやっぱり反対なのよ。あなたたち86はここで戦い抜くのが誇りでアイデンティティなんでしょうけど、私もこれは譲れない。戦い抜くというならせめて最後まで戦い続けられるように一緒に戦うのが私の役目よ。あなたたちがたどり着いたこの国も所詮理想郷には
I guess
程遠かったけれど、
That's one argument to
これ
make.
だけは覚えておいて。
I'll hold up the flag too.
Oh, that's cute.
望んではいない。むしろ死なないでほしいと願っているの。私も師団長も部隊のみんなも。
Oh, there we go. The best little moment of solidarity to like put a pin on top of everything that built up to this.
君たち。
何してんだあんた。
激励に決まってるじゃないか。僕、一応連邦軍の最高司令
It's
官
getting
だからね。
creepily more energetic
連
as time's
邦
going
全
on.
市民と国土、周辺諸国の存亡の危機なんだから、これくらいはしなくっちゃ。まして君たちはこの作戦の要なんだから。そう。君たちノルトリヒト戦隊の働きに連邦と周辺国、人類の行く末がかかって。
This is his Independence Day speech.
It really
モル
is.
フォを撃破するように。期待しているよ。
Now keep in mind, the Morpho has a weak point only a meter
それから
wide,
もう一つ。
like the Womprats back home.
これが最優先任務だ。帰ってきなさい。全員で。
努力はするけど 約束はできないよ。
それじゃあダメだ。必ず帰ってきなさい。戦い抜くのだろう。なら戦争が終わるまで生き残らなければね。だから
Hit him with that
帰っておいで。
psychology, right?
必ず。
Yeah.
You want to fight so bad, you better come back to fight some more.
Attack them where they are, not where you want them to be.
そう。
You don't like that? Well, fight me about it.
帰っておいで。でないと僕はこの世界を滅ぼしてしまうよ。
Damn. Okay.
He's very serious about this.
大統領。
ああ。では始めよう。戦友諸君、慶中を。
Today,
西方
we
方面軍は
celebrate.
全軍をもってレギオン支配域に進軍する。これは我ら共和制ギアーデ連邦および友好ロアグレキア連合王国マルト盟約同盟のみならず助けを求める声さえ届けられずにいるかもしれない周辺の前輪諸国の命運をも左右する人類史上最大の作戦である。諸君は祖国同胞を堅守する強き盾であり
Oh, they're inspired.
人類の未来を切り開く鋭き剣だ。
Yeah, I just love the mood shift of everything this episode. This is the upbeat we needed after everything.
勇猛に果敢に前進せよ。
Glad the timer has a count up / count down reader on it.
I do love the way the music kind of like has this nice countdown beat to it. I like it.
Oh, it's oh, it was what's his name from Gate. It's Tommy.
Look, he's gonna win the score and then go back and get his anime, alright?
Well, thus begins the greatest offensive in human history. The one legion to say, "Hey, you hear that?"
さあ行くぞ野郎ども前進だ。
40 minutes in, it's a long plane trip.
仮設臨時変電所異常なし。カタパルトレールの冷却を開始。冷凍機稼働率 23%。さらに上昇中。
キャノビ開放。カタパルトレール展開開始。
What is going on? Oh.
Yeah, it's how they're gonna fly.
No, I thought it already took off. I thought they were already on their way.
No, it's just 40 minutes of clearing the air for them.
Well, yeah, I thought the distraction was going to be happening along the same time as them heading out, so...
待ってたぜクズ鉄ども。動いた。第一フェーズ完了。レギオン前線部隊の誘引に成功しました。これより第2フェーズに移行します。テイワーズ HQ よりレーラーズ HQ、ラハツエラー発進してください。了解。
さあ。
Better not be one of those twist endings where they get, like, shot down in the hangar.
They go 5 feet and just crash. It never worked.
No, the like railgun. No, I guess the railgun could go off. I don't know. I'm just expecting the worst.
I don't know. I feel building up to all this. I don't want an anticlimax. You meters was right. That didn't even take off.
あら、怖いもの知らずのあなたたちにそう言ってもらえるのは光栄ね。目標まで100キロと少し。9分ちょっとの空の旅を楽しみなさい。
I hope you can hear me over this thing.
予定通り進行中。
Something bad's gonna happen. Nothing good happens in this show.
I mean, everything is literally writing on this, right? anything happening is bad. Oh no, there's all the bad. Everyone else is dying. I guess.
損害を報告。まだ戦闘は終わってないぞ。お前たちに守りたいものがあるなら戦え。顔を上げろ。前に進むんだ。
引かねえんだな、連邦は。
もう少しだ。あと少しだけもしこたえろ。そうしたらあのクソ忌々しい86どもが。そうしたら俺たちの勝ちだ。
そうね。
Oh, I love the mixed emotions.
こっちの勝ちよ。
Yeah, it's so hard to root for you when you throw in a little bit of racism right there at the end.
あんだけ頑張ってくれてるんだからね。
そうね。
Oh, there it is.
Ah, brush your teeth. I was thrown off of the end there. I was like, is that Frederica laughing? Wait, was that part of the music? The laughing is? Then,
No, that's the Legion.
and then,
That just
no,
voice
no,
of
no,
the
Griff, let
Legion.
me finish. Who the fuck died laughing?
Me, obviously.
Well, you turned into
If
a
it's
little
gonna
girl.
be me, I'm going laughing. I'm telling you that right
You
now.
turned into a little girl and then died laughing?
Oh gosh, but no, like, no, I figured that just the voices of the Legion. It's fine. Sure, some little girl probably died to the Legion.
And then I guess corrective statement, it's not actually racism, because the Federacy is all full of different races too. I think it's just like the identifier now, just for them, these 5 specific people.
It's like, gosh, I hate them, but I really hope they succeed.
Well, no, it's like, oh man, we're all screwed unless those goddamn monsters of the Blue Angels save us. You know, it's
Come on, you darn dirty apes, you want to live forever.
yeah, it's not racism because they're not referring to the 86 by their race. They're using it as like a tag name for these 5 specific people.
But this episode was so good. Like it is the reversal trajectory that we've been waiting for, I think. Everything has been like this downward spiral emotionally, I think, for Shin and crew. But this entire episode was the building up for it. Like you said, this is Independence Day right here. Everyone's getting hype. Everyone's in it together. It doesn't matter what's going on. Everyone's giving each other thumbs up. It's so fun. It's so good. I absolutely love it.
I mean, opposite of what you said. I mean, it's
Sure.
Independence Day for everybody else. It's not. This isn't like the emotional upbeat for them. It's still all downward spiral emotionally because now they're just heading off, and we have no fucking idea if they're gonna win or not. They're still saddled with everything emotionally.
I think it still works out for them. They're already committed to the suicide mission. That's all they know. That's all they want to do. So that doesn't really factor in here, I think.
It certainly does.
It's the context around it. It's the way people feel about them and what they think they're going to get out of it. Everyone is rooting for them. Whereas back in
to come back. Everyone's
in the
rooting for them to
Republic-
come back.
Yeah,
Frederica,
back in the
Ernst,
Republic,
everyone.
everyone was hoping they would die, right? This is the reverse of what they did last time.
Yeah, but they don't give a shit about that. They've expressed that wholeheartedly. They don't give a shit.
Well, no, like the ending is that they do care. They are all cheering up for it.
I don't see them cheering up. They're excited to get into battle. They didn't give a shit about the thumbs up from our new Lev.
No, they
don't.
totally did. They reacted positively to that.
They
that was
laughed
the
at it.
context.
They did a U, Griff. They did a U. They laughed at it because they laugh at everything. There's no context for what the laugh means. They've laughed at everything else as well. Ernst,
I mean,
they
I guess like,
smirked and laughed at.
I'm reading them and I'm also like reading the story right. If this is a story, what does all of this mean when we focus on it?
Don't
And
pull
to
that
me, that
shit.
means
The moment you
that's
pull
what we
that
get.
shit, the moment you pull that shit, the commenters are like, "Oh, that guy's just narratively illiterate." I don't give a fuck what the commenters think about my ability to read a narrative.
No, don't say that, Theta. No.
I don't. I enjoy the show as I enjoy it. You can't tell me to enjoy it a different way. So I'm
Right, but
just
here I'm just
saying.
saying this is my interpretation of all of it. This is why I like it. This was cool despite no action, right? Or
Full
I
of
guess like a
action.
little bit at the end.
It was full of action. I guess you don't think West Wing has no action in it, huh?
I guess like no very super obvious broad action, which is the stuff we got at the very end. The
You're talking
war, the
about.
launch of
It
the
was
plane,
full of
right?
broad action. Greth was all over the place. But
But no, like
that's a
I loved
1960s
all of
joke
that.
for you.
But yeah, that's like all as a broad scope. As like a narrower scope, I absolutely loved like the Shin and Federica scene. Literally, there is no escape for Shin. Shin cannot fucking hide. It is fantastic. It is the best possible thing. And I think it actually got through to him too, which was great.
I mean, clearly it didn't. Because he literally just left her there and went off and do the thing anyway. By the way, her name's Frederica, not Federica.
Curse you. Anyway. But no, I think it is another point on the pile. It is another reason for Shin to focus on trying to get back out alive.
Literally, the last scene was his berserk grin again. He doesn't give a shit. They're doing everything normally. Which is to say, crazy, but normally.
Maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe they'll give us like another angle next time and it'll build up towards more of like your interpretation. But I love what I got here. I'm so happy.
And certainly we're never going to... I don't suspect we're going to see your reverse thing. The last shot we saw of the Republic does not look like Lino shit won. So I do not suspect that we're going to see, oh, here's the Republic coming in the other side from the three kingdoms. Oh, here comes the Republic. I don't think that ain't going to happen.
Anything else from this episode you want to comment on? Anything like broad scope here?
Too much.
Too much.
Too much happened.
This is why we have the Theta Thoughts section, everyone.
Yeah,
so we come back for the next time.
There is no possible way I would be able to get all of my thoughts out about what we'd be here for another 45 minutes. I mean, just trying to think of a way to encompass everything. Well, because it's a breakdown of everybody had their shot. We had 2 shots of Ernst figuring shit out. Who the fuck knows what "I'll destroy this world" means? Too much there.
Yeah, no, everything rides on him getting those kids.
I mean, if he's the grandpa too, who the hell knows? And then Frederica's whole thing, where she's like, calling Shin out, and it sounds like she's throwing a fit, and it turns out she's actually having an emotional breakdown over this. Of course, we could have read that for the whole thing. And then... Yeah. God, the people we didn't spend any time with was Shin and company, but thank God we spent all of our previous episodes with them, realizing that they don't give a shit about the Federacy, they just want to die fighting.
We even have, like, Greta, right, is their commander's name, right? Greth. Okay, I keep adding stuff to stuff. We've even got, like, her, like, deeper motivations for everything, too, just revealed out of nowhere, and then wielded as a weapon.
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch, like, a first name on the tags. I was like, wait,
her hand is like half over them, so.
Well, no, there was something tied around it, and it's like, wait, that's her name. Like, this doesn't help me out at all. I recognize she was married to somebody. That's it.
It's so good. I love it.
For a moment, I thought
she's actually one of the most fun new characters. I think. She's ready to just go at whatever.
For a moment, I thought the revelation was going to be she was married to my guy here, and it's like, no, that's not what's going on.
Like, that'd be funny, I think. Like,
well, no, it'd be like the standard like late 80s, early 90s thing where the person that you have to call in your final favor with is like your ex, that sort of thing,
or like your distant husband or whatever. Yeah.
Well, you know me, I wouldn't do this sort of thing. Think about all those years we spent together. Did I ever once do blah 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 blah? That sort of thing.
Oh gosh, like if we were in a different story, I think that would be a good focus. But we have so much else going on. I don't think we have time for it.
And then the whole is this a disinfection thing, right from the very beginning, to indicate
Yeah.
that if it wasn't for my guy here, the Beetle, splitting them all up and sending them their separate ways,
Hmm.
that they might have been collectively thrown out together to try and be killed by the enemy in some sort of suicide maneuver, but instead they weren't willing to sacrifice each individual unit that they put them in to try and kill them all that way.
Hmm. And now we have them leading the Independence Day charge. They're the crazy guy in the jet. So next time, Shin is gonna go, I'm back to the Legion. And that's where we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the day. This has been Face Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?